Any advice and information from this podcast is general only. It has been prepared without taking into account your individual circumstances and needs. Before acting on any advice from this podcast, you should assess and seek advice on whether it is appropriate for your needs, financial situation, and investment objectives.
What about people, like I see a lot of people and explain that, superannuation, you can actually change what you're invested in if you want to. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
And do you think it actually helps your kids by learning more yourself or seeking advice from a qualified financial advisor?
Yeah. Who would you see as an advisor? 100%. I guess as parents or even as adults, we find, how you always want to give your opinion. You're at a barbecue or something and you kind of want to butt in and go, oh, yeah, I know about this. I bought that.
Yeah.
Same as parents. If you know it and it's kind of helped you, you definitely want to pass it on. Even if you're in your professional sphere of things, you want to pass on your knowledge. But for kids, definitely, I don't know, most parents, I presume, not all, probably got this little built-in instinct to kind of just, you wish you could teach your kids everything. Like my kids do some stupid, right? And you're just like, man, and you try and sort of help them. It doesn't come out that way. They don't listen. They end up finding out the hard way anyway. Like, don't muck around on that. It's going to hurt. Nah, what do you know, Dad? Next minute, they're bawling their eyes because they've done it. Financially could be the same thing.
Yeah.
Once bitten, twice shy. But that could be a bad lesson. Imagine if you're a parent, same thing on the GFC. Lost a heap of money in the GFC through your super and you pass that on to your kids. So it's a double-edged weapon. You can either teach really good lessons. You might think you're teaching really good lessons like, listen here, kids, do not put $1 in the share market because look what happened to mum and dad in the GFC. We had 100 grand and in 3 months' time it was worth 50 grand.
Yeah.
And we lost a lot. We sold it and lost a lot. You might really deep down, you might think that is the best lesson you can give your kids, but is it the right one? So many layers behind it. Same as the whole real estate thing. Go out, borrow 600 grand, buy that house out there, rent it, negative gear it. You will be fine. You don't know what the circumstances are going to be in a couple of years. As I said, And
it's a different market for what they're in and what their kids will be in. It's completely different.
Yeah. Especially with your kids, you'd hate to give them the wrong information. Not everyone can be right, but it might sort of be that. Yeah. But going back to your question, every kid, different age groups, I've sort of whether it's under 6, under 7, in between 7 and 10, they're starting to learn a bit more about pocket money. It depends on the messages you give them. 10 to 13 is kind of like that tween years where they definitely get more exposure. Their personalities are growing. They're starting to be influenced a lot more, not by parents, but by what's out there, friends. My kids don't see too much of social media. We're pretty restricted. We pretty much just lock them up in the room for a whole week. They're not allowed in it. No.
Oh my gosh.
But they just get it. They just get it from their mates. Like a lot of my older kids, his mates have got technology, and he gets a lot of it from there. Some of it I don't enjoy. Some of it's just part of the journey. And then definitely into your teenage years, you've hit high school, 13 to 18. You're probably, you're starting to get a lot more interested in it. But what are the lessons there for some kids? I guess my kids, I want to teach them, I want them to learn a heap. Sometimes it's really hard to earn money. Like the other day, I had him shovel. He was on the shovel for an hour. I don't even know if I let him have a drink. No, that's a joke. It was a hot.
No water break.
But what happens if I just covered my kids from now until 18? Everything they wanted, shoes, going out, shopping, didn't have to work. Hey, mate, concentrate on your studies, concentrate on your sport, whatever, up until you're 18 or even – and there's nothing wrong with it. I can't say that's right or wrong. What are they learning from that? Dad, I can't really afford to sort of work part-time because, I've got school and stuff. Sure. Tell that to the tens of thousands of people that are out there that are doing that. Tell that to the uni students that are out there studying a doctorate in medicine or something, but working part-time because, their parents couldn't afford to fund them 50 grand a year. They're not going to get much lessons from me, just feeding them feeding them 50s. That's my outlook on it, and that's sort of the household outlook.
Mm-hmm.
They will sort of have to, and I'm not expecting them to go out and do hard work or hard labour forever. They might not, but they'll definitely sort of experience it first, because how do they know what it's like until they've sort of tried it?
Yeah,
but they've got to sort of learn.
lesson.
Yeah, it can't all be about just, cool, mate, just sit on the couch, play your games or whatever. I got ya. No, they're not going to learn, because eventually they'll leave the household. You don't want them. I don't want my kids to be tits on a ball. Just, well, let's be honest. I got to be honest with it. If people want to hear honesty, that's kind of got to be part of it. Not to say that that's what it'll become, but if they learn those things, and sometimes there's a saying I read, I can't remember where from. Sometimes you got to be cruel to be kind, and that sounds bad, but sometimes, yeah, mate, you're going to have to, if you want to buy those shoes or whatever, you're going to have to kind of earn it a little bit, or figure out a way to get there.
Yeah.
Because my kid's 11, 7 years' time, he's pretty much on his own 2 feet, depending. So, yeah.
Do you have a few kids, 3 kids? I find even in financial advising, when people come in, some are visual learners, some are more, numbers inclined, so they like my spreadsheets. Some are more, I don't know how to say it, but they like English a bit more, or words and literacy.
Or
illustrations more.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between how you teach, maybe one of your kids that's more numbers based compared to?
My 2 older boys are definitely, they enjoy numbers a lot more, but their attention spans are pretty tight. You've got them for a little bit, and then you might sort of lose them. So especially if it's a really important lesson I've got to teach them. Like, check this out. There's, it's sometimes got to be portrayed to them in a way that really sinks in. I'm not a teacher. Your partner's a teacher. You'd probably be all over it, kind of how you can really get across different learning mechanisms. I do, especially at the young age for boys, I found it very good with the whole practical thing. Sometimes even drawing it out on a pen and pad kind of thing. Like, I know with my oldest, I've talked him through, like a house, or how does this rent thing work, or how do you, how do the police get paid? Like those things.
Yeah. Sometimes
you kind of need, that goes off the whole tax thing. You might see something on the news. What are those people whinging about? Taxes or whatever. Like sometimes, you've got to draw it out. It can't just be a verbal thing. When they were younger, something physical, whether it was pens or rocks, but when it comes to like the finance side, I've shown them their bank accounts. I've talked to them about interest before, on their little bank accounts. I think they get a couple of dollars a month, or they used to. Now I use their money in the offset. Anyway, my kids are definitely practical, but there's probably some kids that just pick it up very happy to just read it or read a book or whatever.
Yeah.
I could read a book I did a lot of reading when I was younger. Yeah, you'd have to sort of find that balance, I guess. And you'll see it. You'll see them. You just see their eyes glaze over. I don't know.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, and whether it was finance or I used to coach kids at football, some kids just, you've got them for 5 seconds. If you haven't got that message out, gone. Girls are so different. They will absorb and listen and do and function pretty well. Most boys, God, they're just, and for me, it's the finance thing's close to heart, so I try and outline that a fair bit. But
what about investing as a kid? Do you talk to them about investing, or do you plan to start an investment or anything like that for them?
Valid point. Yes, the earlier the better, but obviously there's a heap of caveats around that. But I definitely talk to my kids a heap about investing. When we used to get letters from like dividends and stuff, BHP, heap of companies' shares we own, they'd send a letter. I'd bust that out and just show them, oh, boys, Mum and Dad got a check for next to nothing. What do you mean, Dad?
Yeah.
They sound like that too. I definitely sort of take the time on that and take them through like the investing. What do you mean? So, when we shop at Woolies, some people can own part of Woolies or Woolworths.
Mm-hmm.
If Woolworths makes money, sometimes they get paid for that. Really? Yeah. Like, doesn't have to be fully technical, like franking credits and stuff, but just showing, hey, if you've got a slice of pie in that company, see them shoes you wear, them Nikes, you can own part of Nike. Really? Yeah, mate. I could go out and buy $1,000 worth of Nike shares now. Really? Yeah, it's just sort of how it works. If Nike does really well, I might do really well. I definitely do. 4-year-old, not really. He's just fussed on Matchbox cars. Maybe I should buy money in Matchbox cars. We've got about 50 of them at home, and I step on them every night. Yeah, and that's another rabbit hole on setting them up for investments because there's a heap of tax implications. But, we've seen a heap of clients. We've talked about trust structures for investments and that kind of thing. The ATO will sting you. Gone are the days where you can set up a massive savings account or an investment under your kid's name so you skip out on the tax. The ATO will ping you for that. That whole unearned income. We might cover that a bit later.
Yeah.
I'd hate to know. I think we talked about it before. Imagine if the government created an incentive where, I don't know, you have a kid, part of your baby bonus instead of cash is like, hey, we're going to buy you a few units of the ASX 300 or something, and your kid can't touch it till they're 18. As an example, I don't know, we'll buy you 1 unit, $5,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Think of it as a government bonus. Here's $5,000, but we're going to buy this thing. You can have it. You can let it grow tax free until you're 18. Then you can have it. Good God, I'd had to see what it's worth. We should do the math now.
Yeah.
But things like that'd alleviate just a heap of stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, I do talk about it. I do talk about it with clients, young kids. Hey, can't I just put all my money, because I'm paying all that tax on my savings, can't I just put it under my 7-year-old's name? Not quite, mate. Once that savings account earns $416, every dollar after that, ATO stings you 66%. Like, it's pretty ruthless, but they did that, I think, over a decade ago because a lot of parents were doing that. But that sort of slips into the whole shares, trusts. You've got to have that relationship with your kids. Some parents don't want their kids to be beneficiaries. Like, it creates another kind of rabbit hole of questions and scenarios. But
I think we'll go into that more in the next episode.
And look, full disclosure, I have some investments for my kids. There's a heap of stuff out there like investment bonds, education bonds, where you can set it up. They can there's like a vesting age. You can have their name on the policy where they receive 18 up to 25, I think. And you can kind of miss out on the tax repercussions until they cash it out. There's some periods for it, but there are products out there. You'll pay a fee for them. You can have it invested sort of in your kid's name, and they can cash it in if they want when they hit a certain age.
Yeah.
Like, and you, depending on what it is, it might grow a bit more in a tax-friendly environment more than like a savings account or money in the piggy bank or,
How do your kids go? Because even as adults, I feel we struggle saving long term or looking at the long term. Like, if you're a 10-year-old, you're not thinking about when you're 18. So if is there any savings or anything going on that they kind of understand that if I put away $1 now and let it get interest in a year's time or in 10 days' time maybe?
I've chatted about interest with my older kid. I've shown him what it kind of looks like on his accountant statement. I don't do that, I guess, because I try and, they've got their money that I have outlined actually, come Christmas time, they're like, oh, yes, Nan and Granddad, birthdays, Christmas, I'm getting cash in.
Yeah.
I sort of outlined to a few of them, hey, the money's going to go in, but I'll spend it, I'll invest it in like an additional funding to like their education bond or something.
Do they understand like what that's for?
I've loosely told them that I've set up some investments for them that they'll possibly access at 18 or whatever, and that it should grow into a bit of a healthier sum. But I have outlined whether the message is sunk in. I'm like, look, not that I can stop you buying, you're not going to go out and buy 20 pairs of shoes. This will be something to either help you buy some sort of car, because a car can help you with like employment, all that kind of stuff. But I have sort of told them that there is something there for them. Sometimes I mix the numbers up. I've heard my kids sort of, because it gets lost in translation. Oh, Dad's got us an investment like 50 grand in there. I'm like, no. And then the next, Chinese whispers, they tell their mates at school, like if we chat about it.
Yeah.
Got to be careful about that stuff. But I do sort of mention I've set something up for them with the whole long-term thing.
Because I can imagine it would be hard, even talking, like we have some, both of us have teenagers come through. And you kind of talk to them, if you do this, at 40 or 50, this is what you'll have. And they kind of look at me and go, 40 or 50?
Yeah.
You're talking about 40 or 50?
Not everyone gets the delayed gratification, and that comes down to like personality, psychological. It's just not that easy. I referred to it before. If you look at, key one is Warren Buffett. If you look at what his wealth amount was when he was in his 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you will see that the principles he set up in his 20s, 30s, 40s, he was rich. He wasn't as wealthy as he is now because of that delayed gratification, that wealth, compound interest, financial principles of investing. And his wealth just exploded as he ramped into like his 50s and 60s just because of what he'd stuck to, like
the power of compounding growth.
Horses for courses, because remember we talked about personality. Not everyone is like that. Like my oldest kid's definitely impulse. He's going to take a lot more work than maybe my middle kid, but like he is probably similar to me. Something shiny, got to buy it. Like it'll take him a lot. He's not cared about tomorrow. But it's funny. We talked about it before and we'll probably cover it again. Amount of people I've met, whether they're clients, friends, colleagues, whatever, that talk about, you're a financial advisor. Oh, man, I could die tomorrow. Yeah, you could.
What if you don't?
You most likely won't. And I've definitely got 50 or 100 case studies of people that have kind of lived by that, and you've probably seen the same. They're getting into their 40s or 50s, and it's just their stage in life where they're now starting to think about, I've had a good time, depending on what they think that is. And they're like, like their family and friends are set up with investments and they've got nothing. Like nothing wrong with it. But for some people, it stresses them out. Like,
maybe a bit of balance of, having a good time, but also preparing for the future.
I could definitely brainwash my kids, but look, you're going to get rich, Dad. Simple. Live dirty cheap, invest the rest. Done. Don't buy this $1 million house. Looks beautiful. Yep. Live in the squalor of a rental that charges you $50 a week. Invest everything else. Whether it's real estate or share market, keep smashing it. Compound interest. By the time you are 40, hell, you will be financially independent. That's nearly true, give or take, but it just doesn't work that way. It can't always be about the money.
I even find it very interesting. Some people are more well off on a lower income than a higher income because they save or invest their money compared to someone on a higher income that's not kind of putting anything aside. So
the amount of people we meet that don't really care about flash car or spending all their money on clothes. Professional athletes is you read into it, and we've been lucky enough to chat to Lachlan Coote. Shout out to Lachlan at Northern Realty. There are some, they come into those big contracts and that's just when the lifestyle goes with it. Cars, houses, jewelry, clothes, image. At the end of the day, that stuff will tick some boxes, but when they're done and they're 35 and that income drops right back down, that stuff, it didn't really do much for them. Whereas you definitely hear of those athletes that set things up and have managers help them out, real estate, shares, business, whatever, and they are kind of all the hard work they've put in that 15-year career has bared the fruit, and they're financially independent. They might not have looked that nice when they were in their 25. They might not have had the 4-carat diamond earrings. But the houses that they bought and rented or the managed funds they have and now paying them. Like, can't be for everyone. You've got to find the happy medium. All our clients are different. As I told you, the easy answer is that one. That is like, save heaps, invest it, spend as little as you can.
Yeah.
But not every personality is like that. There are people there that are happy to do that. We've met clients within our business that high income earners, doctors, whatever, spend not that much, invest the rest, and give it 10, 15, 20 years. They are, I don't have to work 70 hours a week now. I can work 30.
Yeah.
Can't be for everyone.
But like, what's the benefits of investing younger? Like, what is the power of compound growth? Like, what if I put in $1,000 into a savings account or an index, like into shares? Fund, whatever, how does it then turn into 40,000, say, 30 years later?
Law of averages and time. Time is the big one. I guess we can't crack through the numbers now, but you know, we've definitely shown clients that if you start at 20 versus starting at 50, same amount of money, I don't know, 100 grand, same average return rate, 7, 8, 9, 10%. Good God. Like, you know, by the time you're 70, depending on what it is, you'll make some money. But if you'll do well at 50, if starting at 50, but if you start at 20, it just compound on compound, time in the market. So that's or real estate or whatever.
Yeah, so that's something parents should maybe think about.
Yeah, I don't know if I've pushed that one on there. My kids haven't really asked. Like, they know we own shares and assets, managed funds, all that kind of stuff. I don't think they've asked. I don't think they've seen like, oh, you're like a day trader. I don't like.
Yeah.
That's a story for another time, but that'll probably come up. They'll probably see it on, especially socials or something. There's definitely people out there that spruik that lifestyle.
Or even parents think about setting something like that up younger.
Yep. I do talk about the long term with them though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, clients that we have that come in and sort of go, share market, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do any trading or anything. Well, it's not trading. Like, it's, look, you can do that if you want, but that's not what we do. That's, yeah.
So, I guess with all of that, I guess in a bit of a summary, how do you set your child up for financial success based on those few points? Because you kind of mentioned the mindset of, with your kids, you show them what working or earning money can do rather than giving it to them.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
I find I believe, what I believe, I'm pretty sure it's right. I guess the lessons they learn from that are going to help them. It might not seem like it now. There might be a heap of whinging and bitching, but it will resonate with them when they're a little bit older. The lesson will click. Especially, look, it's probably like kids are pretty challenging because they're not like adults. There's got to be some persistence there and it will rub off. Practice what you preach is maybe another one. If I'm like, hey, telling a kid not to spend all their money on cars and clothes and stuff, and the next, you're coming home with 3 Land Cruisers and 2 boats or a heap of flash.
See you, yeah.
Look, you've got to sort of teach them you've got to reward yourself for some things. For kids, the message is probably got to be a little bit simple, maybe just easy, simplistic, but maybe just a bit exciting. Yeah, like the whole delayed thing. Hey, man, if you do this, imagine telling my 11-year-old, hey, if you invest now, by the time you're 40, you'll be killing it. 40?
Yeah.
Flat out putting my shoes on.
That's 100 years away.
Yeah, so persistence with it, just clear and simple messages, and you just got to cater to their personal traits. Some kids will absorb it, some won't, and you just got to find another way. It's kind of like adults. Teaching adults is kind of the same thing. Not everyone can grasp the spreadsheet. Sometimes we've got to use a lot of illustrations, make it interesting. Yeah. But they're your kids. You've already sunk a heap of time and money into them, so you might as well go the extra effort and try and really set them up for when they leave the roost and just leave them in a better knowledge space, because you'd hate to, nothing against it, but you're trying to set them up for, especially in this day and age where stuff's how is my 11-year-old going to buy a house in 14 years when he's 25? A bare basic house, say in Townsville or wherever. It might be worth 600,000, 700,000, 800,000 just to get in the market. Damn, how are they going to get there? Because not every kid's they can just start as some sort of social media expert making buku money. It's not the case. You might have to start on the grind. You might have to go through uni or be an apprentice or, business startup that pays you nothing for 2 years. Yeah, but how am I going to get that house now? That's this whole life thing's it's a little bit of a longer process. Yeah. I suppose the key one is just be good to your mother. That's
a good one.
Yeah, it keeps me out of trouble, I guess. But they're probably the main ones, J-Mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the stress tester questions.
No, I feel like I learnt a lot. That was
Does this mean you're going to go out and buy a heap of kids or?
Buy them. Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any on the market. I'll swap some.
On the share market.
Yeah, hopefully listeners, parents, whatever, got something out of it. You don't have to be a parent to really you might have friends that are kids that you're close to and
mentoring.
Sometimes those kids don't get it from their parents. It's part of the life, especially with boys. There is a stage where you need to be comfortable that they won't go to you for advice and mentorship. They will seek another mentor or...
Don't want to listen to mum and dad all the time.
It is. You can't get offended by it.